Welcome back to How to Have a Sound Argument with Your Intimate Partner. This is the relationship series, and this is part 2 of part 1. If you would like to see part 1, head over to Survivor's Facebook page, and you will see there that I have posted actually a discussion, what is a sound argument? There are 3 things that we're going to cover in this brief discussion, so stay with me as we will both learn how to have a good argument, a sound argument with our partner, and to do it the right way. The number one thing that we have to keep in mind before we even begin a discussion or conversation with our partner is that we must approach with respect. Because if we come in yelling at our partner, putting them down, and we don't have the proper tone of voice, our partner is going to shut down. So we want to keep in mind the way we are talking. We want to keep in mind our tone of voice. We want to be mindful of body language. If you or your partner are just looking away, or maybe the rolling of the eyes or the covering of the face, these are all negative emotions that your partner is not ready to have the discussion. Again, the first thing that we want to do before we even begin to have a healthy argument with our partner is to approach with respect and avoid shutting down. If you or your partner aren't ready to have the conversation, make sure you let them know that. Make sure, say, I'm going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to just get my mind off this for a minute, and then come back and make sure you have the conversation. Because if we just sweep that under the rug, the same situation's going to come up, the same argument's going to come up, the same things just keep happening over and over, and none of us wants that because it's not allowing us to grow and feel more connected in our relationship. So approach with respect. The second thing that we want to do is we must stick with the facts. This is important because in a heated argument, sometimes we start bringing things up from the past that have nothing to do with the current situation because we're just trying to, maybe put our partner down, or just trying to get control when you feel like you're losing control. So keep it clean, prevent this kind of clutter, and you will see that it will lay a better foundation to have a better argument. Another thing that we want to avoid when we are sticking with the facts is that we don't want a long, drawn-out explanation, because when you do this, you begin to devalue the truth. Now, truth is truth, just like we have discussed in part 1 of this discussion, is that it's like a mathematical formula. 1 + 1 = 2. It cannot be compromised. There is a premise and a conclusion. There's only one outcome when it comes to truth. When we are having a long, drawn-out explanation, it can devalue the truth. Now, you might be wondering, well, what if my partner needs a lot of explanation? What if my partner needs more details and they just want to know that I'm being honest with them? Well, this is a different case. Yes, sometimes you want your partner to feel secure and safe, and yes, sometimes more details are needed in that kind of situation. But what we are talking about is to not over-explain, because it's going to devalue in what you're trying to put across. Sticking with the facts, making sure we keep it simple, clean, do not add a lot of explanation. Well, also, we must be mindful that if we're going to choose to lie in the conversation, if we're going to choose to be dishonest, then you must be prepared for the consequences of that. Because even though you are supposedly telling the truth, and then later on as time develops and that same situation comes again, and then you have this conversation again, and you weren't truthful the first time, and your partner then finds out that you were lying, there's consequences to all that. So if you're going to choose to lie, remember that that can come back and bite you like a snake. What are the 2 first things that we must do before we have a sound argument with our partner? approach with respect, stick with the facts, and you will see that this will create a better environment for both of you. The third thing, a very important element of these 3 easy steps to follow when having a sound argument, is that we must use a spirit of humility. What do we mean by this? Well, the word humility is certainly not giving in to your ego. The ego is how we perceive ourselves, what we think about ourselves, and sometimes we elevate ourselves in a way that we are better than another person, and that is not good because that shows arrogance. And what we want to do during a heated argument is to stay calm, to stay humble, use your words, don't become physical, because that is just going to create a world of mess for you. Stay humble. Stay with me here, because I'm going to give now some things that we shouldn't do in order to accomplish a sound argument. And the things that we shouldn't do is that we should not belittle our partner to make them feel less than, because that is not going to allow the conversation to push forward. Another thing that we don't want to do, as we have stated briefly just earlier, is don't bring up things from the past that aren't necessary. Sometimes it is necessary to deal with things in our past because it's spilling over into the relationship and these negative behaviors keep happening. That's a different case. But for the most part, let's not use that as ammunition towards our partner. And here's one example that we shouldn't do, is throwing truth into the face of our partner, such as saying, "I told you so." Now, does that really encourage your partner to do better? No, it doesn't. It just brings them down. It doesn't, uplift them. So we want to practice the skill of uplifting our partner so that they can have a better foundation to build upon in trying to just be a better partner for you. Another little negative behavior that we sometimes find ourselves doing is being selfish. We are talking over our partner. We are not giving them a chance to speak, and we just are trying to push our point. That's very selfish because it indicates that we aren't a very good listener. We want to be able to make our partner feel like they are being listened to. And sometimes we don't understand the emotion they may be going through. And this is where we need to make sure we implement empathy. And if we do not have a lot of empathy, well, let's learn how to practice empathy, because that's going to go a long way helping each of you, helping each of us understand difference. These are 3 easy steps to have a sound argument with your partner. Approach with respect, stick with the facts, and stay humble. If you practice these 3 things, most assuredly, you are going to be very successful in presenting your argument, your difference, your opinion, sometimes that is necessary so that you can grow from each other. You're going to see that a sound argument is possible, that healthy conversation is possible with your partner, and together you start to grow, together you start to bond and connect even more so than what you have before. This is James with Survivoneers. Continue to follow us here on the Facebook page as we are discussing how to have a sound argument with your intimate partner relationship series.